Do you like horror? Do you like video games? Do you like scary nuns with peanut-shaped heads? What the f*** was that?
Did you guys also see the guy with the penis?
No, I saw a peanut woman. I looked away for a second and looked back, and this bitch was in my face with a peanut head. Well, I'm GhostsOnHoliday, and do I have a video game for you? It's called Capitalism. I mean, the Outlast Trials. Sorry, I don't know where that came from. I wasn't a huge fan of the Outlast series before this game. I played through the first game and the second game's demo. They're that run and hide type of horror, and I've never been a huge fan of that. Ah! Shit! Fucker. When I was younger, it was because I was very scared of it, but now that I'm older, I think it's just because I find them kind of boring. What do? Run or hide? There's so many choices. So I was a bit hesitant to play the Outlast Trials. Not only is it an early access, which is always a coin flip, but it's an Outlast game, which means it's that run and hide style of gameplay. But the reviews were overwhelmingly positive on Steam, and I saw it was co-op. So I decided to bite the bullet, and I bought the game along with my brother and a good friend of ours. And I am so glad that I did.
I can't run!
Oh my god.
He said, I can't run, it's around and see Jacob jumping. And he goes,
Dude!
The Outlast Trials is an amazingly fun game for $30. Yes, the hide-and-seek style of gameplay the series is known for is still there. Yes, it's an early access, but they have majorly expanded on the Outlast formula here. You have a rechargeable item called a rig that you can use to do different things like heal or stun enemies. You can use items in the environment to heal, to stun enemies or distract them.
Get out of his way, please.
He's naked! His fucking ass cheeks are out! Or deal with your different levels of damage or psychosis or whatever it's called. Yes, there's now a sanity meter in this game, and if you deplete it, you see one of the most terrifying things in the game. The Skinner Man, which is this fucking Return to the Slab looking motherfucker who's on this really scary type beat. There's also a leveling system, which improves how you interact with enemies or the environment, as well as unlocks cosmetics. You're like a spider, scuttling around, shooting webs, and improving your web. I just said web twice. I'll state that currently the Outlast Trials is PvE, meaning player versus environment. Think Dead by Daylight, but instead of fighting a toxic human player as the killer, you're fighting a toxic AI player. God damn it, this bitch. Also, unlike Dead by Daylight, the survivors actually want to help each other. Wow, shocking, I know. Every player that's added ups the difficulty a little bit, and you can have up to 4 players, including yourself. Per player, you get more puzzles, more enemies, and probably more traps. So if you're playing with other people, it behooves you to work together. You can play through the whole game single player, so if you don't like playing with other people, just do that. You can be a single eye that sees the game solo. It is a very different experience single player though. Still a good one, but different. I mean, that goes with anything. When you add other people to it, it just changes the way you interact with it. Imagine cooperatively reading a book. How would you even do that? The game's plot is simple. You're an unhoused person who took a flyer advertising a better life during the Cold War, and then are taken deep underground and tortured by a large corporation to train you for their profit, just like in real life. The story obviously has more to it, but I don't want to spoil it for you guys. The tutorial is strictly single player and introduces you to the more classic Outlast aspects of the game. But after you finish it, you get dropped into the sleep room, the tiny, depressing dystopian hub of the game. From here, you can check out your sleeping room, unlock new abilities, and go on trials, which are basically the missions of the game. In those, you accomplish goals while avoiding enemies. That's it, simply. You stealth. You hide in trash cans, like Ashley Graham, circa 2005. But you can also stun enemies with bricks or bottles in the levels. You can stun them with your throwable stun ability, or place a mine down, which stuns them and puts gas everywhere. You can heal your teammates with a red gas that doesn't stun enemies, but can later if you level it up right. You can see through walls with the X-ray ability, which is basically useless. Don't use the X-ray, it's awful, and they really need to rework it. It's probably one of the worst things in the game next to the fucking screaming locker ladies. I hate these ugly, spoiled, meat-looking fuckers. You'll be running around and just boom, they're on top of you. It's awful. The game still has the basic Outlast concept. avoiding spooky dudes while trying to accomplish goals, trying not to die or go insane. Goals vary from playing carnival games, to sawing off a crucified man's legs, to dropping mannequin children into a grinder, to destroying records. There is so much variety in this game, it's insane! At the end of each trial, you have to sprint to the exit like a cat being squirted with a squirt bottle. Once you do escape, you get a letter grade based on your performance in the trial. How little damage you've taken, how many traps you didn't set off or did. We actually did way better that time. See? Look at that.
C+!
C-, what the fuck?
You get XP, which you use to level up, and you also get 2 types of currency and unlockable items to customize yourself with. If you do good in the trial, you get praised by the therapist / daddy / father figure / god figure / your primary torturer.
I know a teacher isn't supposed to love a student, but I can't help myself. You're wonderful.
If you do bad, well, he just kind of shits on you.
Return to the sleep room and try again.
You know who hasn't shit on me in this game, though? The people who are playing the game.
You see that? Okay. Thanks, Bob.
Oh yeah, we got randoms. I'm in trouble here. Shit.
That is one of the biggest things that's blown my mind while playing this game. It's the community. So far, it has been an overwhelmingly positive experience when playing with other people. Sure, I've run into a couple of people who were a little annoying, but for the most part, there has been very little to no toxicity, and most people are just out to play, win, have fun, and help each other. Again, this is quite antithetical to games like Dead by Daylight, which is basically the League of Legends of the horror community. That's not one-to-one, of course, because nothing can be as evil as League of Legends. But it is nice to play a game, for the most part, where everyone online is chill. Most people are on mic, and no one I've played with has shouted racial slurs at me. Yet. I say yet because I guess it's bound to happen eventually, but so far, I've played like 30 hours in the game, and you know what? Hasn't happened.
Easy
It's the
answer.
co-op.
Jews or the coloreds or the commies, and I'm happy to sell you whatever it is.
Jesus, the guy's saying some racist shit. And I'll say, I think, along with the additional items and enemy interactions in the game, making this game multiplayer is what truly knocked it up to the next level and made me really enjoy it. Having people to help you distract the enemies. Having friends to laugh at as you watch them run away from enemies and run out of stamina or run into another enemy. That's
the
not
fuck
Skylar, it's Necroloon!
He's after Jacob.
Jacob, a fake
No,
Skylar.
he's stabbing me!
Cursing at those same friends as they run an enemy right into you who subsequently punches you in the head, or drills you in the eye, or stabs you in the appendix.
Ah, okay, thank
Jacob,
you.
I did not know you were behind me. Oh man, I'm sorry. Yeah, this game has a lot of gruesome imagery, by the way, a lot of which I cannot show in this video because I'll probably get demonetized. If you've played Outlast, then you know what to expect. People pulling out their own guts, getting their faces drilled, like I said, penises, getting an electric baton shoved up their poop chute. Speaking of gruesome imagery, this game is gruesomely beautiful. I mean, look, the things that happen in it are awful. You literally chop a naked crying man's leg off and he's also been crucified. I hate every time I do it, it makes me feel bad and sad. But it looks so good while it's happening. I mean the graphics do, not specifically like the thing that is happening. The game is just so fucking pretty. Yes, the buildings are full of blood and guts and insane puppet women. Woo! Oh god. But it looks so good when you're running for your life, or having blood rain down on you and a bunch of animatronic child mannequins. Every time I play it, I'm really amazed when I look at everything around me, the walls, the greenery. That is when I'm not wearing the night vision goggles. Yeah, sadly, you'll spend a lot of the game in night vision goggles, which just makes everything look this really washed out shade of green. But when you're not wearing them, wow, does it look really good. And when you're not looking at a horrifying giant naked man's ass. And it might be pretty, still, if you're into that sort of thing. Sticking with the topic of visuals, like I said earlier, you can also customize your character and bedroom in this game. When you finish Trials, you get XP to level up, but also unlockables. You can buy new rigs, passive upgrades for your character, or, like I just said, new cosmetics for your character or your room. This includes clothes, hats, carpets, full-on suits when you prestige. I like that this evil corporation lets me deck out my bedroom with this hot gothic chic carpet. This is a rad fucking carpet.
Yeah.
I can also wear this like really hip sort of 70s disco suit. Like I said, there's also special costumes for rebirthing your characters, which is essentially completing all the trials you needed on the hardest version, which is called Project X. It's kind of like prestiging in Call of Duty, but you don't actually lose all your levels and cosmetics. Overall, the customization in this game is pretty good. It's not like super in-depth, but there's enough there that it's like really satisfying when you unlock things, and it's nice that it's there to give you an incentive to keep playing at all. Like I said, the game is in early access, but there is a surprising amount of content in this game for the price. There are only 3 main missions, which are big and long, but there are also smaller levels designed around those same themes as well. Not only that, but each time you play, mattering on the modifiers of the mission, it kind of remixes the levels, moving items around, changing paths, setting traps in different places as well as enemy spawns. Each playthrough, even if it is the same level, will feel different because of these things. This really stretches the content that is in the game out. Meaning, if they add even more, you'll get even more along with those remixes. If you don't like what you're hearing about the fact that there's a good bit of content that is constantly being reused, I'd look at more reviews or other videos, but you'll see in this video that a lot of what I'm talking about. There is a good variety of enemies in the game. There's the 2 main guys, which are the crazy puppet lady and the crazy cop. But there's also the night vision guy, the locker bitch, the dog man, and one of my personal favorites, the doppelgangers.
That's
What?
not me.
It's not. What the fuck? That's scary.
What?
Skylar just walked in, but that's not Skylar.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
They look like your fellow players, but will either have a messed up username above their head, or, on harder difficulties, the only thing that will be different is the ability that they're using. So if you're not paying a lot of attention, you'll see someone, think it's your teammate, and then get stabbed.
No, wait.
Skylar, is this you?
It's Demon Dog Smowith.
Reminds me of dealing with my local skinwalkers. Ah, those late summer nights with the skinwalkers.
Back with another milk. Help! Help! Help me! Help!
Last but not least, the game is really horror focused, but as with most horror games, the more you play it, the less scary it becomes. I found very quickly, besides the gory presentation, that the horror definitely gets diminished over time, and is already kind of diminished with the multiplayer element. I'd say this game is closer to a gory thriller than an out-and-out horror game, but it is definitely still a horror style of game, at least in spirit. It is pretty disturbing overall, but like I said, I rarely find myself scared while playing it, but I don't love watching some of the gruesome stuff that happens over and over again. I'm like Courage the Cowardly Dog. Ooh, the things I do for love. So yeah, this is the best co-op horror game out right now in my opinion. Better than Phasmophobia. Stinky idiot ghosts? Nope, not for me. This is better than Dead by Daylight. Dead by Daylight, toxic. Get it the fuck out of here. Put it in the garbage. That one game with the girl with the black starfish on her face or whatever, get that the fuck out of here. We don't need it. We have Outlast Trials. That is to say, again, it is still in early access. For the most part, it feels like a very fulfilling experience. There could be more content, but what is there is great. And it is relatively lacking in bugs. We've still run into a few. Here an enemy decided he just wanted to hang out in the tube that I needed to progress the level with my friends. Awesome. Same level, we could move on because the ticket machine just ate our tickets. Just like a real amusement park. It feels so immersive. And, okay, most of the bugs that we've run into have just been in the amusement park. And in one of the bugs we found, my brother slid into a wall and just got stuck and didn't get out until an enemy hit him. The Outlast Trials is great. If you're even a little interested, I'd say buy it right now. It's $30 in early access, and the price is going to go up when it fully releases. If you like to wait to play games when they're fully released, I'd still buy it now and just wait to play it when it fully releases. Or you can just wait and pay more later down the line. I can't tell you what to do. If I could, I'd make you more like a lamb. Anyway, I'm GhostsOnHoliday. I'll see you in the trials, and remember, spider, eye, lamb.